The scream sliced through the oak forest, jagged and out of place, shattering the stillness of a crisp autumn dusk. It wasn't a wolf's howl or an eagle's cry, it was human, raw with panic, clawing at the air above Raven's Hollow. I was in my shed, oiling the chain on my old dirt bike, when the sound hit like a gunshot. I dropped the rag, grabbed my binoculars, and bolted to the ridge, boots crunching on fallen leaves. What I saw stopped my heart. A woman on a glossy black ATV, tearing down my private trail, tires chewing dirt, hurtling toward Reaper's edgy a 300-foot cliff with nothing but jagged boulders below. She was Vanessa Caldwell, head of the HOA in the valley below, a woman who'd laughed off every sign, every warning, every legal barrier I'd put up. One moment she was mugging for a drone camera, the next she was screaming, and all I could think was, she has no clue what's coming. For days earlier, on September 10th, 2023, things were calm. I'd just rolled back from a supply run in the sleepy town of Willow Creek, unloading trail cam batteries and steel posts when trouble stirred. A neighbor, weathered old Hank Larson, caught me at the feed store, his eyes narrow with that look that spelled bad news. Vanessa was scheming. Hank, whose nephew lived down the street from Vanessa's gated mansion, showed me a post she'd slapped on X. There she was, decked in a shiny red jacket, posing by her custom black ATV with a VC1 vanity plate, grinning like she'd cracked a vault. The caption read, "This Thursday, I tamed the untouchable trail. Raven's Reign," tagged with a pack of local influencers and crowned with flame emojis. I should have been mad, but I just felt drained. This wasn't Vanessa's first jab at my land. Since she'd crowned herself HOA queen, she'd been hell-bent on turning my rugged trail into a public stunt track for her clique of rich thrill-seekers. Every meeting, she'd push. I'd refuse. She'd double down. She'd mailed fake violation notices, though my property was far outside her reach. Once, she told the sheriff I was stealing nature. Sheriff Maria Torres just snorted and told her to keep to her cul-de-sacs. Vanessa didn't get Ida wouldn't. The trail wasn't a joyride. It was an old cattle path from my great-granddad's time, steep, rocky, riddled with loose gravel and turns only a hiker or horse could handle. At its end loomed Reaper's Edge, a sheer drop named for a rancher who vanished there in the 1950s, leaving only a torn hat. The trail had been locked down for decades, fences, signs, erosion blocks. But Vanessa saw it as her personal Everest, a ticket to viral fame. That afternoon, I trekked the trail to check for tampering. Sure enough, the lower gate was cut open. ATV tracks scarred the earth, ripping through a patch of saplings I'd planted. My chest tightened. The lower trail was shaky, the upper stretch was deadly. If Vanessa hit those bends at speed, she'd sail off the edge before she knew it. I spent the night setting traps not to harm, but to save. Motion sensors, fresh trail cams, and a GPS scrambler I'd rigged in my engineering days. It wouldn't block 911, but would mess with her navigation app, maybe slowing her down. I knew she'd come. I knew she'd ignore reason. Vanessa didn't respect limits, she chased spotlight. Next morning, her circus rolled in. At sunrise, her 16-year-old son, Ethan, arrived with a drone crew. SUVs spilled out, HOA fans clutching vapes and tripods. Vanessa roared up like a diva, revving her engine, her rhinestone-studded helmet flashing. I approached with a map and a geologist's report, making one last plea. I showed her the unstable rock, the blind turn, the cliff's brutal drop. I held up a photo vertical, merciless. She smirked, waved it off. "That's just your grandpa scare tactics. My rig's unstoppable." I stared, stunned by her ego. "This isn't a video game," I said. Her crowd hooted. Ethan shouted, "Let the queen roll." They cheered. I backed off. I'd done all I could legally, morally. Now, it was up to fate to spare her from physics. By noon, Vanessa was in show mode. She strapped on her glittery helmet, tested her mic, and bellowed, "This is for every woman told to stay safe." Today, I ride for glory. I nearly choked on my thermos. It was laughable if it wasn't so deadly. As she gunned into the woods, her fans glued to a live stream, I climbed a parallel ridge to track her. My sensors pinged as she blasted past markers, the drone buzzing overhead, catching every skid. She ignored my fluorescent speed signs, hitting a muddy patch at the midpoint and nearly flipping. My heart pounded. She was racing to her grave like it was a red carpet premiere. Then came the sound I'll carry forever. Her engine snarled, choked, roared, then a scream, sharp and searing, split the forest. I sprinted to the overlook, binoculars trembling. She'd hit the final turn too fast, lost control, but instead of flying off, she'd caught a nylon cable I'd strung as a last-ditch save. It snagged her rear wheels, spinning her ATV into the dirt, one tire teetering over the abyss, 8 feet from doom. She lay still. The drone hovered, filming her sprawled, helmet cracked, arrogance broken. Below, her crowd gasped. An HOA woman screamed, dropping her phone. I stood, pulse racing, and whispered, "That trail doesn't mess around, Vanessa. It claims idiots." Shock hung heavy. Her fans froze at the trailhead, whispers spreading like smoke as the drone captured the near tragedy. Ethan, pale, stared at his phone's feed, silent. The woods went quiet, as if nature itself paused. Vanessa stirred, breathing, dazed, inches from the edge that gave no second chances. I descended, not for her she was alive, but for the storm I knew was brewing. Blame, lies, drama. By the time I reached them, someone had called paramedics. Ethan paced, eyes down. The drone guy, muttering about epic clicks, reviewed footage. Some looked shaken, adrenaline fading to dread. Vanessa, scraped but upright, slipped into victim mode. "Something snagged me," she croaked, loud for the cameras. "That cable, he rigged it to trap me." I crossed my arms, letting her rant. She grew bolder. "He knew I was coming. He set me up to crash. Attempted murder." A few nodded, unsure. Others squirmed. A woman, Rachel, a rare sane voice in Vanessa's orbit, spoke up. "Vanessa, we saw the signs. You blew past 5. You bragged about this all week." Vanessa's glare could have sparked a fire, but she turned to me. "My lawyer's gonna bury you," she hissed. "I've got witnesses. You tried to kill me." I held up my phone. "I've got trail cams, GPS data, timestamps. You trespassed, trashed my land, and nearly died for a stunt. I didn't hurt you, Vanessa. I saved you." Ethan looked away, shaken. Paramedics arrived. Vanessa demanded a stretcher despite walking, milking her neck brace for the cameras. Her ATV, towed from the edge, was mangled, axle snapped, tires shredded. The trap she screamed about was a climbing-grade nylon line, anchored with breakaway pegs to stop a runaway vehicle. It was crude but effective. She owed me. Instead, she was plotting her spin. The crowd scattered, leaving whispers and trash. I hiked home, checking sensors, pulling trail cam footage. It was all there. Timestamps, signs, Vanessa's smug grin as she roared past warnings. That night, reviewing files, I saw her hit the gravel slick and nearly roll, her bravado crumbling to fear. Too late, she was already barreling toward the edge. By dawn, the drone crew had posted a highlight reel, chasing clout, titled, "HOA Boss's Near-Fatal Trail Wipeout." It froze on her skid, music pounding. It blew up in hours. Comments split. Some called her daring, others deranged, but most saw the truth. Locals shared my signs. A hiker stitched Vanessa's own posts boasting she'd crushed the old man's rules. Opinion turned fast. Vanessa fought back, going live from her sofa, brace on, dabbing fake tears. "I was lured into a trap," she claimed. "He should have stopped me." But the internet didn't buy it. Her own post, "No one blocks me, not that recluse with his lame signs," became a meme, slapped on rocket ships and cliff jumps. The news jumped in. A reporter walked the trail, airing my footage and my words. Signs ignored, land damaged, life spared. The segment called Vanessa's stunt reckless endangerment. Sheriff Torres called, laughing. "She wants you charged for rigging your own land." Your logs and her video shut that down. "She keeps pushing, she's the one in cuffs." I gave her everything: screenshots, clips, posts. Vanessa, unbowed, hired a slick lawyer and sued me for negligence and malicious harm. Her case was paper thin, built on her own live-streamed defiance. My lawyer barely blinked. The HOA turned on her. Rachel, now interim president, led a vote to boot Vanessa after listing her violations. It passed nearly unanimously. Ethan, rattled, deleted the video and quit X. The valley buzzed with gossip and memes. Vanessa doubled down, accusing me of sabotage and teary posts, but her lies cracked. She called my cable a death wire, my warning paint deceptive. Then a video leaked her brace-free, laughing in a store days before her broken livestream. Her Justice for Vanessa fundraiser, pulling $3,500, tanked amid refund demands. Then came the podcast. Vanessa, craving redemption, joined Hollow Howls, hosted by brothers who roasted dumb stunts. She spun her survival tale, blaming me, the trail, the signs. They nodded, then struck. Why ignore the signs? Why livestream a death ride? Why say no one stops me? Vanessa flailed. Then Ethan walked in mid-show, voice cracking. Mom, stop. You almost died. You're making it worse. The show cut off. The clip went viral. Her ATV and gear sponsors ditched her, citing reckless behavior. Her name was Mud. My inbox overflowed with support. Locals thanked me. Landowners shared similar tales. One email, from ex-HOA member Clara, hit deep. You saved her and taught us boundaries matter. Nature doesn't bow to hashtags. I felt something like purpose. Vanessa's lawsuit folded. She withdrew it with a cold note. Her house hit the market, and word was she'd fled to her cousins in Idaho. Ethan moved to his dad's, started college, and dropped off social media. One foggy dawn, Vanessa appeared at my gate. No cameras, no brace, just her, worn thin. I need to see the edge, she said. Wary, I led her there. She stared at the drop, whispering. I thought I'd own it. I didn't think I'd die. I said, most don't, till they do. She handed me an envelope cash for the fence, signs, cable. I had no right, she said. Then, soft, thank you. I know you saved me. She vanished into the mist. The envelope held a check and a note. Some lessons burn. Yours kept me from the final one. Autumn deepened, leaves flaming gold. The trail stayed silent, its signs now heated. I added a plaque at the trailhead, honor the edge. Nature doesn't bargain. The county tapped me for a land safety program, using my footage to teach respect for boundaries. I agreed, keeping it real. Clara brought teens to see the trail. I explained its dangers. They listened, hushed. One asked if anyone had fallen. Not yet, I said. That's the plan. On New Year's Eve, alone by my fire, I stepped onto my porch, coffee steaming in the midnight frost. The snow-dusted valley gleamed under moonlight, the trail hidden but eternal, a line between choice and chaos. I smiled, not for winning, but for meaning. Some paths you guard, not claim. What's your take? Was Vanessa a reckless egoist or a dreamer crushed by fate? Should I have blocked the trail harder, or was she beyond saving? Did she deserve the internet's wrath, or was it too cruel? Drop your thoughts, hit like if this gripped you, and subscribe for more stories where pride meets truth.